Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the least listened to podcast on the globe, the Sixth Sense Media Podcast, with your host, Mike Phelan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the least listened to podcast on the globe, the Sixth Sense Media Podcast, with your host, Mike Phelan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the least listened to podcast on the globe, the Sixth Sense Media Podcast, with your host, Mike Phelan.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll just roll right into it. So how did you decide what made you come up with doing a film about Cyclops?
Yeah, so good question. So I have a producer friend of mine who a few years ago, about 2 years ago, brought up it was like during the beginning of the pandemic, or a little before, like beginning of 2020.
Hang on, Keith. Hang on, I have an intruder. Yes, Peanut. Yeah, that's it.
Nope, kitty.
Just let him go. It's all right. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. So I had a producer buddy of mine, like about 2 years back, early 2020. Me and him were talking, and he brought up I think X-Men and like different like series and stuff, and we're like, there's never been an X-Men origins story on Cyclops, first off, and there's been like different Marvel obviously has done ones on like Wolverine, and different characters, and but there's been fan episodics on Gambit and obviously Wolverine and different characters, I think Magneto and stuff like that. There's really never been one done on Cyclops. So me and him, we started talking about like, that'd be a cool thing to do. Do a fan episodic for no profit, just for purpose of putting out there as a passion project for fans and stuff, for them to see and put something together, because that's never been done before. And that's I've grew up watching X-Men, and Cyclops is one of my favorite characters and stuff. So we thought that'd be something really cool to put together for people, and make it look really polished and good, and not like obviously not a homemade video, but professionally done, got episodic series that can be put on YouTube and different sites for free, for no profit. It's a fan series, it's a fan episodic for people, and we were just kind of shocked that's never been done before. So we thought it was a great idea, and so we started writing like the different episodes and stuff, and then so we have this first one coming out in like March timeframe or early spring. So
how many episodes are you anticipating?
We don't know. I'm thinking at least maybe at least 3 or 4, but it really depends on how it's received. Or at least this first episode. This first episode's only like 5 minutes. It's just kind of like a teaser episode to pull people in to see people's reactions and stuff. And from what I've seen, at least in the editing room, it looks phenomenal. So we'll see how people receive it. But it depends on how people like it. We'll keep doing a couple of these. But obviously it's for no money, so it's just for pleasure for people to have and see and enjoy. But this character is really strongly based more off the comic book, more than anything. And I say that because in the comic book, Scott Summers' character is a very kind of a rugged, rough, kick-ass type character, which is shown in the comic books, and he's the alpha male of the group. He's obviously the leader. But in the movies, you see a lot of it's like Wolverine's like kind of the alpha male, kind of running the show. Cyclops more the pretty boy. So this is kind of flipped around. It's really shown how he is in the comic books. We really wanted to portray that.
How effects heavy was this first little episode you did?
Not too bad. It's not too bad. You see some of the laser, like the laser optic beams, in the eyes, but other than that, it wasn't too much. It wasn't that bad, but it's a little glimpse. It's like I said, it's a shorter first episode, like 5 minutes to give people a little taste of the character and how this character is going to be shown. It's a different portrayal, more based strictly like on the comic books, a little twist to it. So yeah.
I saw in some of the promo material you got your hands on a DeLorean for it.
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
going to be is this piece set in 1980s, or did you just have a DeLorean? You just wanted to have Scott Summers just driving a DeLorean?
Well, it's a good thing that you mentioned, because one of my producing buddies was saying, it's like, I guess it's up to the audience to portray, but not really. So to answer your question, no. So it's supposed to be present day, but at least in the first episode, and even in the second episode, it could go either way. People will be like, is this 80s or is it, it's kind of up to the viewer. We didn't mean it to be 80s. We thought that it would be a cool twist to add a DeLorean in the show, as Scott Summers is one of his cars he drives. And DeLorean fans, that draws them in. They love that stuff. So that's its own community by itself. So it has another twist, another dimension to the character and to the whole series of creatively of creating something what's different than what's shown in the comics and the movies, stuff like that.
Where'd you get the DeLorean from?
DeLorean Motor Company.
Oh, you actually just bought one of their new old stocks, or one of the they're still producing them too, right?
Well, they're not producing them, but they are they'll find like Barnhouse finds, and people will sell them to them, and they'll restore them, and they will resell them on the websites, and you can go there, look at it, test drive it and stuff. So yeah, they'll restore them and resell them, but their main business is servicing DeLoreans. But they're not manufacturing them. They've talked about it. They haven't done it yet, as far as at least what I know. They haven't done that yet.
How was it to drive?
Oh, it's great, man. It's great. I was born in the 80s, late 80s, and having that car, driving that car is just something else. People, driving around in that thing is like an alien spaceship people are looking at. So I get a lot of weird reactions, and people try to run you off the road, and but it's low to the ground. It's a cool sports car. It's a fun. It's like driving a go-kart, like a big go-kart, pretty much. It's super low to the ground. It's pretty fun. So,
your plans for the rest of your Cyclops project, are you looking to bring in other actors to play other known mutants, or do you want to keep it solely focused on Scott's journey?
Keep it solely on Scott's journey. However, yes, I would bring in different. We do plan on bringing in different characters to play different parts, or different X-Men and different people in that series. It just depends on the episode. So, but mainly, yes, it's focused on Scott Summers, on his journey, mainly from like his early adult years. Like his mid-adult years, so from like 20s to like 40 something, like around 40ish, so that time period. So yeah, we do plan to bring in some people.
Your other project, we talked about this 3 years ago, which I couldn't believe it was that long until I looked up our old interview. That you had mentioned that you were going to have another film, and the film was also going to have a tie-in game with it. And from what I saw on your company's website, that is now a reality. Could you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I think what you're talking about. So I did for the prior film, I did a video game for the Refuge that was released on Google Play Store and different platforms. Steam, it's available for like Android, Google Play Store for people to download. Anyways, we're doing also right now episodic series for streaming platforms that called Suitcase City, and that's an episodic series that we're releasing probably later spring. The big outdoor marketing push, and that has a video game tag to it. So it's called Suitcase City. So yeah, that will be released later this year, and yeah, it's a different type of story. It's set place in the future, post-apocalyptic in year 2054, and there's this basically this gang, this big gang group is controlling the city. It controls all the resources for survival, and there's this militia of former cops what are trying to restore the city. and all these other cities and around had been wiped out because of nuclear bombs and radiation. So the video game is kind of like a Metal Gear Solid game, first shooter person type of game. Guys looking for ammo, running to enemies and food, water, fight for survival type of thing. So,
who actually developed the game? Was it you, or was it a game developer?
Game developer. I'm not. That's
you're not that multifaceted. Is that what you're saying?
No. I have a game developer I know, and
Mhm.
and they handle all that. So I just tell them this is the story premise, the idea, this is what the character looks like. Here's pictures and images and stuff, and then they develop it. So it's still being developed right now. It should be done within the next month, and then that's being released as well late this year. So yeah, they handle all that. So I hire them.
I saw that you've been in some other productions over the past couple of years. What else will people have seen you in?
Yeah, I've done a lot. I've been doing some Lifetime movies, man. Lifetime and Lifetime Movie Network did a role on a movie called Killer Advice. That was on Lifetime Movie Network. Played a detective for like 5 scenes or so, and then the sporting part with Eric Roberts was in it, and then movie Her Deadly Groom was another Eric Roberts movie that was on Lifetime movie channel, or no, Lifetime channel. Because there's Lifetime channel and there's Lifetime Movie Network.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was in one earlier last year. Her daughter's Deceit. That was another Lifetime Movie Network. And I just recently wrapped a movie in November with Rampage Jackson and Anderson Silva, playing a supporting part in that for a few scenes as a police officer again. And that was a lot of fun. So I don't know where that's going to go. I know it's a Hulu. From what I understand, it was a Hulu movie. Like they're gonna do something with it, obviously. So they're involved in the funding or something with it. So yeah, that's what I'm doing with those. I'm doing some acting gigs as well on some other projects, mainly Lifetime. So
how is the production as compared for a Lifetime movie compared to like a Hulu production? Is there a big difference in how things are handled and how you feel about the whole production?
It's pretty similar. It really depends on the producers. Because some of the producers on the Hulu movie were the same for the Lifetime. So they're bouncing around at different projects. Yeah, so it's run pretty similar. It's same crew size and stuff. It's it can range from 45 to 55 people as far as crew, and you have cast. So yeah, they run pretty similar. In my mind.
How have you been getting your roles? Has it been through your agent, or has it just been through casting calls, or what?
Just do direct contacts, man. Mainly direct contacts. Primarily just me out there hustling and me knowing people. So I've been here for a while. I've been here since 2012. So just knowing people and just get hit up through phone or email and then go out there and do the job.
Have you been doing a lot of in-person auditions, or have you been having to send a lot of tapes out to people?
It's all tapes, everything, because of COVID, everything's self-tape auditions. And even I just did a callback recently for a feature film that was on Zoom. So like everything's on Zoom for like callbacks, and like all the auditions is self-tape. So at least out here in LA, unless they change that, I don't see that going away anytime soon.
Do you feel that you're able to put your best out on tape as opposed to a face-to-face meeting with a casting director?
You know what? I think that I like the face-to-face meeting a lot better for a lot of reasons. It's like any job. It's best to meet that person, up in front in person, meet that person there. The whole online thing, you can't really get a good gist on that rapport, that face-to-face meeting of talking to them, their energy and stuff. So, and charisma. So I think, yeah, for me, I like in-person auditions. The self-tape thing actually takes just as long, in my opinion, or it can be longer because you have to set up equipment. Like, I mean, you have like, you can do a cell phone camera, right? And put like a little tripod, but like just little things. It can actually, and then uploading the media and stuff, like it can take just as long. So it's like, I'd rather me just drive, I live in Hollywood, so like drive 20 minutes away, whatever, do the audition, at least I meet them, and then come back. So I think it's better in person. Yeah.
How have the overall productions been affected by the pandemic? How is everything on set handled now?
Mhm. Everything's obviously mask.
Mhm.
Some of the bigger productions, it's like different zones, different areas of crew has to be segregated and stuff like that. These are like the big studios and stuff, but
Mhm.
they want different. Like they have zone A, B, C, and all this stuff. It's crazy, man. Um, then some are requiring vaccinations, some aren't. So it's just kind of like it's a big mess. in
How
my
do you
opinion.
feel that affects you as an actor? Does it put additional strain on you, or does it make the whole experience feel so alien?
Um, I've gotten kind of used to it a little bit, but
Mhm.
it's still very awkward. I mean, we're still wearing masks out here. Obviously, that's gonna be here for a while, probably. But yeah, it's in the beginning it was really weird. And obviously, the beginning was really weird. Um,
Yeah, it seems like I lost you there for like 10
oh,
seconds.
yeah, I lost. What was this? Okay. Well, I was saying I know we left off. About how it affects you as an
Yeah.
actor.
Hmm.
I'll go back. So basically, I was just saying it's been such a normal part of our society for like the last 2 years now with this mask stuff, and a lot of these steps require either vaccination, or sometimes or some that don't, and then they require mask mandatory. Obviously, there's different sections where they segregate like different crew, like the principal, like so the actors, and then like background and different parts of the crew, um, like zone A, B, and C. And so it's just been really awkward.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I've gotten kind of used to it. I just kind of just go there and do my job and ignore all the other stuff and just focus on what I got to do. So that's what I do at least.
How'd you get in here? Get out
Yeah. Uh-huh.
of here. Sorry, she left the door open, so that means they're just going to come in and out. uh, I just can't wait to get an actual official studio that's not within my house.
Yeah, I saw him up in the back. I was like, all right.
So what else do you have coming up that's your own, that's part of your whole production company, besides your two newest projects? Do you have like a whole just slate of stuff that you're going to be working on throughout the year?
I don't. I really want to focus on these two projects, especially. Well, they're both equally as important, but especially the Scott Summers thing. That's got to be done right. And I think it has been done right. That's not something that you can mess up and get wrong. It's a fan episodic, and it's based on X-Men, and that's a huge, huge following. Um, so I want this to be done right and shown right as far as acting, the production, and everything. So I think we did a pretty decent job, but let's see how people receive it. So I really been focusing on that, and then also this Suya City TV series that's we're doing as well. So I want to expand that as well into further episodes, depending on how that's received. And we already have all the episodes written out. So yeah, for me, as far as producing, that's what I'm working on. And then I'm also just for the rest of the year, I'm also working on other projects for other people, like coming on as an actor mainly. So, but you never know in Hollywood, man, what's going to come up. So
Mm-hmm.
it's you just get attached as a producer or a director on a gig, and then now you're working on that. So you never know.
So you don't regret moving from Tampa to Hollywood?
No man, no man. I've been in Tampa 10 years. July is my 10-year anniversary here, so it's been one heck of a ride and adventure, man. Yeah, it's been good. So yeah, no, absolutely not. No, I love it out
Mhm.
here. So I love it.
Awesome. So to wrap this up, where can people go to see more of your work and stuff like that?
Yeah, mainly Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, Vudu, all these streaming platforms. Lifetime, obviously, all those Lifetime movies I mentioned, Lifetime Movie Network, Lifetime. The stuff I'm producing right now, for the Cyclops thing, that will come on Vimeo, YouTube, and other free online streaming platforms. And then the suitcase TV series mainly. That's gonna be focused with Amazon, but we don't know what else. We're gonna try to negotiate some deals with some other smaller studios and stuff like that, and companies to see where else it can be put out on different streaming platforms. But mainly those platforms. Then yeah, I mean, if you just go to like either IMDb or Amazon, you can find like a list of other stuff what's out there. So
All right, perfect. That wraps it up for me. Thank you very much, Keith, for coming back on. It's great to see that you're succeeding all these years after the last time I got to talk to you. It's really good to see,
yeah.
especially people that come from my hometown succeeding by taking that chance, because that's one hell of a chance to take, moving all the way out there
Yeah.
and going into that kind of meat grinder.
Dude, I appreciate it. You know what's the piggyback on that? Well, I'm glad I'm from Tampa and representing Tampa and stuff like that in that aspect. But also, I tell people like this is the hardest. I mean, I've done other small businesses, but this is the hardest business, or probably the hardest thing I've ever attempted in my entire life, and it still is. It's such a grind, and it's such just a freaking tough business, man. It's very saturated, and every day is very, very difficult. It's yeah, I can't stress that enough. So yeah, it's not it's you're coming out here and you're definitely taking a big chance. It's like rolling dice at the Vegas card table, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You've been listening to the Sixth Sense Media Podcast. You can find more of our celebrity, composer, musician, and filmmaker interviews, as well as pop culture roundtable discussions on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Pandora. Be sure to check out our vast library of entertainment industry coverage, including on-set reporting from your favorite TV series and movies at sixthsense.com. You've been listening to the Sixth Sense Media Podcast. You can find more of our celebrity, composer, musician, and filmmaker interviews, as well as pop culture roundtable discussions on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Pandora. Be sure to check out our vast library of entertainment industry coverage, including on-set reporting from your favorite TV series and movies at sixthsense.com. You've been listening to the Sixth Sense Media Podcast. You can find more of our celebrity, composer, musician, and filmmaker interviews, as well as pop culture roundtable discussions on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Pandora. Be sure to check out our vast library of entertainment industry coverage, including on-set reporting from your favorite TV series and movies at sixthsense.com.